That's deeply rooted in my parents' love for Our Lady and my Uncle Donnie especially. These are the ones that immediately come to my mind. Just as a simple example, my father in his bib overalls, so striped bib overalls, in his front pocket he had a rosary. And it was what we as kids called his army rosary. It was green, just little knots, all tied up real small, so when he was in the army he could pray that rosary. It was so beat up and so bad, the crucifix was lost. He had to put a safety pin on and some other medals. But when we would get in the truck going to South St. Paul or Albert Lea with hogs, for example, the pigs that were raised for market, he'd pull that rosary out. We're going to pray the rosary, right, for a safe trip or whatever the thing was to pray. We'd go on trips, the rosary we would pray. When we grew up in the house, if we weren't in the barn doing chores or whatever, if we were in the house, the rosary was on at 6:30 KDHL, right? So it was part of the ethos, part of the culture. That's why Catholic culture is so important, creating an environment that really manifests this. And then my Uncle Donnie would be an extraordinary example of that as well. He had a great love for our Blessed Mother Mary, and he would pray literally hours a day. In those days, it was a record player. So severely disabled from his neck down, but he had this incredible love of Mary. And part of what was so influential for me was to see when he prayed, or we prayed to Mary, but especially him, the things that would actually happen. So the fruitfulness of the intimacy with Mary as the perfect intercessor for us. Here was a man who never went to formal school, uneducated, if you will. But he knew, and in his utter need of dependence on everyone else, he turned to Our Lady. And in his relationship with our Blessed Mother Mary, as I look back, he was one of the happiest people I knew growing up. He had nothing, but he had the most important thing. And it was that manifestation of his joy and his tremendous physical disabilities and his fervency in prayer that just left this deep imprint, and I could see the fruitfulness of the prayer. So I learned very early on in his witness and example, and even the impact, kind of back to my dad. When my dad died, before he passed away, my mother asked, is there something, each one of us boys, she asked individually, is there one thing you'd like from Dad as a memory of Dad, right? Because we knew he had terminal cancer. 4 out of the 5 of us asked for the exact same thing, the Army Rosary. So my mother kept it. Very fittingly for a mother to do, right? You can't choose one son over the other. But it says to me what that culture said to us and how that was, we've seen that in Dad, we've seen it in Mom, we've seen it in Uncle Donnie, and those were just a few examples.